The image is instantly relatable. A crack in the perfectly curated facade of celebrity. Kelly Ripa, the effervescent queen of morning television, her voice catching mid-sentence, her famously expressive eyes glistening with unshed tears. The topic wasn't a scandal, a professional setback, or a political rant. It was her daughter, Lola. Specifically, Lola's imminent departure. The looming emptiness of a nest about to lose its last vibrant, creative bird. In that raw, unscripted moment on Live with Kelly and Ryan, Ripa did more than share a personal update. She gave a masterclass in the universal, conflicted heart of motherhood. She held up a mirror to every parent who has ever counted down days with a paradoxical mix of pride and profound sorrow. This wasn't merely a celebrity news blip. It was a cultural touchstone. To understand its resonance, we must move beyond the headline and the tears. We must dissect the anatomy of this public goodbye, exploring the intricate layers of being a mother in the spotlight, the unique dynamics of a close-knit, unconventional family, and the silent symphony of grief and celebration that plays in the heart of every parent preparing to let go. Part 1. The Moment. Deconstructing the crack in the persona. Kelly Ripa's professional brand is built on a foundation of relatable energy, self-deprecating humor, and controlled chaos. She is the neighbor you have coffee with, if your neighbor also happened to interview A-list stars at 9 a.m. with impeccable wit. This persona makes her moments of vulnerability not just shocking, but powerfully intimate. The segment likely began as routine, a personal anecdote to bridge the gap between celebrity gossip and weather updates. She spoke of Lola, her only daughter, the creative force and social justice advocate nestled between two brothers, Michael and Joaquin. She might have mentioned packing or shopping for dorm essentials, or a last family dinner. Then the emotional physics of the moment took over. The mental image of Lola's empty room, the silence where her music and laughter once filled the New York apartment, became tangible, present, and overwhelming. The tears that welled were not of despair, but of culmination. They were the physical manifestation of 21 years of accumulated moments, early morning feedings, skinned knees, school plays, teenage debates, shared eye rolls at Mark Consuelos's dad jokes. They were the love made liquid. In breaking down, Ripa was performing a sacred maternal rite of passage, the acknowledgement that a core chapter was ending. She allowed millions to witness a truth we often hide, that success in parenting is ultimately measured by a child's readiness to leave you, and that this success carries the acute sting of loss. The context, motherhood in the glare of the spotlight. To fully grasp the weight of her emotion, one must consider the unique crucible of raising a family in the public eye. Ripa and Consuelos have been unusually open, yet fiercely protective. Their children have grown up with a strange duality, normalcy within the walls of their home and a recognizable surname in the outside world. The delicate dance of privacy and sharing. Ripa has always shared anecdotes about her children, but they are curated, often humorous tales of universal parenting, the mess, the chaos, the pride. She has navigated the treacherous waters of sharing about them without sharing them. Lola, in particular, has emerged through her mother's stories as her own person, fiercely independent, artistically inclined with her podcast and music, and politically conscious. The public feels they know her spirit, making this transition feel communal. We followed the highlights reel, so the finale feels personal. The pressure of the perfect family narrative. Celebrity culture often demands a shiny, happy family tableau. By showing her grief, Ripa rejected that fantasy. She affirmed that even with wealth, fame, and a seemingly dreamy life, the fundamental human experiences of love, attachment, and separation are non-negotiable and achingly real. Her breakdown was an antidote to Instagram perfection, a reminder that no one is immune to the passage of time. A partnership in the lens. Her relationship with Mark Consuelos is another public pillar. Their legendary romance, meeting on set, eloping, building a life, is the stuff of Hollywood lore. This moment highlighted the next phase of that partnership, not just as lovers or parents of young children, but as a unit facing the quiet of a home shifting its center of gravity. Her emotion was likely both her own and a proxy for their shared, unspoken marital adjustment. The individual at the heart of the story. Lola Grace Consuelos is far more than just Kelly Ripa's daughter. To understand the depth of her mother's emotion, we must see her as the distinct individual she has become. Born into a world of talk show green rooms and red carpets, Lola carved out her own identity. She chose a path distinct from her soap opera royalty parents and her brother Michael's acting pursuits. Her foray into music and podcasting speaks to a creative, introspective mind. Her advocacy and social commentary on platforms like Instagram reveal a young woman engaged with the world, unafraid to use whatever platform she has for issues she believes in. This makes the parting not just a mother missing a child, but a parent releasing a fascinating, fully formed adult into the wild. There is a particular pride and a particular sense of displacement in letting go of someone whose thoughts, tastes, and passions you deeply admire. You aren't just losing your baby, you're losing the daily presence of a person whose company you genuinely enjoy. The tears for Lola were for the child she was, but also for the compelling adult whose daily dialogue will now be mediated by phone screens and holiday visits. The universal chord. Why every mother and father felt that tear. The viral nature of the moment lies in its universality. Ripa's specific circumstance, a talk show host in New York, is irrelevant. The emotion is a global dialect. 1. The bittersweet paradox of parenting. From the moment a child is born, every milestone is a step toward independence and, eventually, departure. The first step is away from you. The first day of school is a separation. Parenting is a long, beautiful exercise in making yourself obsolete in the daily mechanics of their life. This moment was the grand final milestone of that paradox. Every parent watching, whether their child was 2 or 22, felt the foreshadowing or the memory of that same seismic shift. The ghosts of future silence. Ripa alluded to the empty room, the silent home. This is a primal fear for parents. The family home transitions from a loud, demanding, messy hub of constant activity to a quieter, cleaner, and infinitely emptier museum of memories. The silence isn't just auditory, it's the silence of a purpose that is fundamentally changed. The daily, hands-on ministry of motherhood transforms into an advisory role from a distance. That transition is a kind of death, worthy of mourning. The reflection on time's theft. Her tears were a visceral reaction to time's relentless speed. In the trenches of parenting, the sleepless nights, the chaotic weekends, the endless logistics, the days feel long. But the years, as the cliché warns, are impossibly short. Her moment was the culmination of that realization hitting all at once. It forced every viewer to pause and measure their own children's years, feeling the sand slip through the hourglass with newfound urgency. The art of letting go, from grief to grace. The narrative, however, does not end in tears. The beauty of Ripa's emotional display was that it was not a tragedy, but a passage. Letting go is not a single act, but a practice, one that requires immense strength and self-awareness. Number 1. Grief as a measure of love. We must reframe the tears, not as a sign of weakness, but as the direct currency of love. The pain is proportional to the depth of the bond. By mourning, Ripa was celebrating the incredible connection she fostered. A painless departure would have been a far sadder indictment of their relationship. Number 2, the rebirth of identity. For decades, Ripa's primary identity at home has been Lola, Michael, and Joaquin's mom. With Lola's departure, that identity undergoes a radical recalibration. This is a moment of profound existential recalibration, not just for the child, but for the parent. It raises questions. Who am I beyond the daily minivan runs and college applications? What does my partnership look like when we are once again just two, not a bustling command center? This is both terrifying and brimming with potential for a new chapter of self-discovery and renewed partnership. The transition to adult friendship. The goal of parenting is to build an adult you like and respect. The empty nest is the gateway to that new relationship. The mother-daughter dynamic can evolve into a deep, peer-like friendship. The tears water the ground for this new, more mature bond to grow. Ripa wasn't losing Lola, she was gaining an adult daughter. The cultural conversation starter. This single emotional moment served as a catalyst for a broader, necessary conversation we often shy away from. Normalizing maternal grief. In a culture that often tells mothers to be strong, to celebrate their children's independence without looking back, Ripa gave permission to grieve. She normalized the complex, messy feelings that accompany a child's launch, assuring millions of parents that it's okay not to be okay, even when it's a happy event. The father's narrative. While the focus was on Ripa, it subtly invited a question about the paternal experience. Mark Consuelos, often the stoic, teasing counterpoint, surely felt the same seismic shift. The moment highlighted that while mothers and fathers may process the transition differently, the underlying earthquake is felt by both. The privilege of the pain. It's also important to acknowledge the privilege within this pain. This is the grief of a successful launch, a child heading to college, to adulthood, to future success. It is a grief born of safety, stability, and realized dreams. For many parents, separation comes through tragedy, strife, or distance not of their choosing. Ripa's tears, while universal in theme, exist within a context of immense good fortune, a nuance that adds another layer to the emotional tapestry. The symphony of sadness and celebration. Kelly Ripa's breakdown was not a moment of weakness, but a moment of profound human authenticity. It was a masterful, unplanned performance of the oldest story there is, the story of love raising itself up to walk away. In those tears, we saw the entire arc of motherhood, the exhaustion, the joy, the investment, and the ultimate breathtaking cost of that investment, letting go. She cried not because she failed, but because she succeeded spectacularly. Lola, equipped with love, confidence, and a fierce sense of self, is ready to write her own story. The painful, beautiful truth Ripa shared with the world is that a parent's heart is the one room in the house that never truly empties. It holds the echo of every laugh, the ghost of every argument, the indelible imprint of a little girl who will forever be her mother's daughter, even as she soars away to become her own woman. That is the painful, poetic contract of love. And in breaking down on national television, Kelly Ripa, for a moment, became the choir director for a symphony of sadness and celebration that plays silently in the hearts of parents everywhere.